it might be a bad idea, but I'm going to be listening to Phil's quote-unquote official review for Elden Ring. I had the fortunate circumstance of dealing with day-to-day life, and I missed this happening live. But because I'm a masochist, I'm going to be listening to it now, because it gives me my final chance for 2 minutes of hate before this game is shuttled off the conveyor belt. And I hope everyone's excited for the inevitable placement of Elden Ring on both the best and worst lists of 2022. Because Phil, in his infinite wisdom of thinking in absolutes, doesn't think he can review a product as a whole. He has to separate, like, the extreme negatives and the extreme positives, and it's really dumb. And it's been a fantastic tradition since I watched him put Kojima games on both lists. That's my favorite shit ever. Man, before we get started, I think his stupid webcam... Is my cursor visible? Yeah. His webcam is too small. You can see these black edges on his ugly ass. Oh my god. So I definitely really loved Elden Ring. I beat it with 205 hours. And I guess because we all like to flex our builds and stuff, I did finish it at level 180, but I was doing a dagger build. And trust me, the high raw numbers, the trade-off were dinky little knives, having to very slowly slice up the Elden Beast. Like, my Mimic couldn't carry me through that whole battle. That shit was brutal. Definitely worth it, though. So, I'll probably discuss it later. But one of the big things that irritates me the most when Phil tries to be such a real gamer about Elden Ring is he really hates the recycled enemies, which just drives me up a wall every time. It's one of those few moments where I have a hard time just laughing, pointing and laughing at the lol cow, and he just feels so punchable in those moments. But like I said, I guarantee this is gonna be something he'll touch upon in the review, so I'll just talk about it later. And big ups, as usual, to nightride.fm. I've been backing all of my streams and most of my videos on this channel with these guys. If there's anytime there's ads on my videos, it's probably because the Susan bots are like, hey, why are you playing these indie songs? And I'm like, because I like them. Oh no, my $0. So we'll go through raw DDM as well, because why not?
YouTube, it's actually one of the most viewed playthroughs I've done in many, many years.
And we immediately opened to a
playthrough
flex.
I've done definitely this year, and in the last, probably like 3 years. Enjoyed putting the amount of time I did into it for the content.
What is my mic picking
a lot of it repetitive as well.
There's like this white noise.
Review of this game, so I'm not going to talk much about it now like I normally would at the end of a playthrough. I'd rather have you watch the full review. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's been an amazing 2 to 2.5 months. I had a lot of fun with the game, and I hope you did too. Whether I was sucking, whether I was prevailing, no matter what it was.
I am already, like, tuning him out.
All right? And just to end this, all right, so you know what's going to happen.
Am I breathing into the
eventually.
mic?
A new game plus run, just not immediately, but I will eventually go back, and my goal would be to try to do a different build and a whole different experience.
Of course, okay? You're baiting.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
An NG plus or a magic build.
I appreciate everything. Thank you, and thank you again.
I guess put your bets in the comments below when you think that'll happen.
Oh,
6 months?
$20 tip.
A year?
I was checking your stream for absolutely no reason.
Do you think he'll even make a month?
You heard it here first. Elden Ring is easier than the
I'm gonna say 7 months for some reason. That'll be my V-Bucks.
It's actually not. It's just you're expecting the grueling difficulty here, so I toughed through it. On Kirby, I said, fuck that shit. Okay, guys.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's why I had the
Sorry.
video paused here, because Kirby
first,
Souls.
Elden Ring is easier. You stream for absolutely no reason, and then you just beat Elden Ring. You heard it here first. Elden Ring is easier than the post game of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and it is. It's actually not. It's just you're expecting the grueling difficulty here, so I toughed through it. On
What?
Kirby, I said, fuck that shit. Okay, guys.
I don't get
That's
it.
it for Elden Ring. Thank you very much.
Excuses.
All right, we're done. We beat it. Let's see.
Amazing.
And then I can review it. We're gonna review it right now. The review's likely gonna take around 45 minutes, just so everybody knows.
It took about 45 when I skimmed through this timeline. It's that means my video's gonna be like an hour or two.
The
Let's
Ronnie ending and
go.
the Frenzy ending were different endings, not like the others. Okay. Well, I didn't get those. Okay.
I like how you got to hear the little beep beep from his toilet seat headphones.
What am I doing tonight? Skyrim. I can turn the console off.
Finally, this poor thing gets a break. No rest mode.
Thank you,
I'm
Game Tracker,
adorable
that. Yeah,
for
appreciate that.
thinking otherwise. Okay, I am going to miss
Gotta get
these
set up after the
banners a little
review.
bit. Aw, they're gone. Never mind. My favorite was when he was being a dumbass surrounded by Dumases. Best shit. Funniest shit I ever seen. Funnier than Pickle Rick. Touch, touch.
All right, plug the controller in, and it's review time, guys.
Alduin still looks like a blob creature. He looks more melted than the bootleg Blanca. It's ridiculous. Emil with the $25 tip, of course, at the bottom. $5 dues coming on in. Wow, Phil, we're so proud of you. Beat the game.
Okay.
Oh, when I was flexing about my 205 hours, that's because I was looking for all the graces.
Right. Hair's all screwed up. Oh well.
Felt like homework
Thank you,
sometimes,
Tanya,
but it
Raven,
was
for
so
$10
worth it.
Super chat.
Of course, we're opening with this.
Congratulations. Thank you, Tanya.
Oh yes, while I'm recording, today was the day that
so guys, here's
the
deal. I'm gonna
new and
start.
improved
Once I start,
layout came
I'm not
out.
going to be stopping to do shout-outs. I appreciate any contribution.
I'm fairly certain the banners that Phil's using on his new and improved layout is like a really cheap, basic template that you can get on either like Nerd or Die or Own3D, which are perfectly fine websites. I'm using, like, I'm starting to build a Goose OS layout right here, and that's from Nerd or Die. It's just that either Phil or his whales, being the cheap asses they are, they probably got the cheapest of them all, you know?
Contributions that will come in, and I promise you I will shout them out after I'm done.
I don't want the music to be
with the
too loud. It's
review.
just there to
But
beat the dead air.
I need to do the review. So please understand that, and then I will give you shout-outs after the review is done. Fair enough? Okay.
Sure.
Here we go.
At least you'll power through this way.
Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to my spoken word review.
Spoken word.
Elden Ring.
Uh-huh.
I am Darkside Phil.
Bowing.
I am someone who has history with From Software games.
That
I have
trench
not
on his head.
necessarily loved them forever, but over the years,
What?
I have Darkside Phil.
Okay, I already gotta
am someone
rewind.
who has history with From Software games. I have
A history. Okay. Man, dude, I have an entire legacy of using computers, dude. Amazing.
not necessarily loved them
Okay. God, I hate this already.
forever, but over the years of being
I have not-
necessarily loved them forever, but over
Okay, he's downplaying that he's the realest motherfucker around, but he's not living in his his mom's basement levels of realist motherfucker,
the
you know?
years of being
Come on.
demanded to play them by my viewers,
Demanded.
and actually going back and
I
kind
guess
of re-experiencing
monetarily.
them, I actually have grown to love the franchises that FromSoft comes out
You
with.
love the money.
I replayed most of the Dark Souls.
We
games
have
multiple
we
times.
have so much evidence about how much you hate these games. Like the Elden Ring playthrough, you get plenty of evidence there. And if anyone who doesn't know, his original his original camcorder era playthrough of Dark Souls 1 has an actual quote about him saying, if I wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't be playing this game. Like, that's paraphrasing, but that kind of attitude. So, you know, didn't really need to explain this, but just in case.
Times, multiple runs, and I've gotten better at them over time. It was not an easy process.
You've gotten better at cheesing.
Okay? So when Elden Ring was announced that it was going to be a big open world game, but it was going to be the FromSoft formula, I was intrigued and very interested.
Intrigued and
how
intrigued
being able to ride a
synonym.
horse and do jumping and platforming would change the way that the game is played.
There's-
Things that you hadn't really.
I mean, yeah, there's platforming, but it's never that great. FromSoft knows platforming is their weakest point, and they use it to troll people. So whatever.
Been able to do
Whatever.
in previous
I'm
FromSoft
I'm
games, where
overanalyzing.
simply
I'm
just doing
sorry.
A running jump was a chore. I was wondering
running
how
jump was a
open
chore.
the gameplay would be, because in some FromSoft games previously,
These
you
bulgy
could go
eyes.
through with a particular build and coast through a game. Other games, you had to kind of do variety of gameplay over the course of a game. And some games
Variety
didn't
of
even offer
chill.
you variety, like Sekiro. So
That you never
all these
used.
factors, okay,
I've heard he never
being
mixed
in
it up
play,
in there.
I was very, very, very interested to see how Elden Ring would turn out.
Uh-huh.
And when I started playing the game, I realized that this was going to be a little bit different than someone just playing the game for themselves. I'm a content creator.
Oh my
I'm a
God, you
live
say this
streamer.
about every
I have
game.
an audience of hundreds of people who tune in every day. to watch
Snowflake.txt,
what I do.
help!
And so when I played Elden Ring, instead of just playing it
this
for
sucks.
myself to beat it, I realized, man, this game is something special. This is something that when I play it, I want to put an absolute honest effort into seeing all the content of the game.
And you did
in
not.
one playthrough. Most people have
Did
not
he
done
get
that.
grace
Most
percent?
people went out and said, I'm just going to try to beat it at first, and maybe I'll replay it again and look for the secret area.
Yeah, okay. So this is already one of my pet peeves, is it's like, oh, people will do multiple runs, but they never, like, go through all the content in one sitting. Okay, and? Like, that's the thing, is that getting grace percent is really, like, if you're a completionist, and, like, Vel has backed me up with it, well, I'm kind of sharing Vel's opinion with this, is that, you know, FromSoft games are kind of like, especially with Elden Ring, now that it's not so linear, it's like you carve your own path, but, like, only if you're a completionist are you gonna obsess over every single little data point that you could pick up. And like that's probably one, you know, besides budget and time saving measures, that's why you're gonna see recycled enemies, is because, you know, Sir Dumas the First is probably gonna take one path, whereas Sir Dumas the Second might take another, and there won't be as much overlap with all these enemies. You know, there's a strength in setting it up like that. But yeah, for some reason, Phil wants to flex that he did it all in one go. And I mean, I did, but like, whatever? Whatever out of 10. That is this entire video, isn't it?
Areas. Maybe I'll do
talking
a
about my
particular
video.
build run, then replay it again with a different build run.
Yep,
For
there we
me,
go.
I wanted to see as much as I possibly could, because
Sure.
I knew that if I put that much time and effort into the playthrough, not only would it be special,
No, it's
people would
not.
not be wanting. They would not say, "Oh, you left out critical parts of the game." I
You coulda
also
just
knew
done
that I was
another
not intending to go
playthrough,
back to the
dumbass.
game for a second run anytime soon. I actually
Why not?
literally just beat the game on a stream, and I told my viewing audience, "Hey, I will go back to it with a new game plus run, but we're giving it a good break." Okay?
I mean,
So,
maybe a month tops.
just
You need to stay
completed
on top of this game.
a 122-hour-long playthrough.
205,
Elden Ring.
bitch.
And I want to talk about it and review it for you, so that you can know what someone like me, who has history with FromSoft, but also
I
has
have
a different
history
kind of
with Dark
perspective on
Souls
games
1.
like this, thought about the overall experience. Alrighty then. So, where do you start? Well, The beginning.
Oh my god.
First, when you started with...
Sorry. It's like one of those telltale signs of someone who doesn't know what they're going to write in their script. Which, I mean, to be fair, I recently learned that I have a very special kind of stage fright if I try to, like, record a podcast with a bulleted list on it. Even though I was going to edit out any dead air or mess ups and what I'm talking about, my voice trailed off like every 5 seconds. And once I listened back to it, I was like, dude, this is unusable. But yeah. Where was I going with this again? Hold up.
Start? Well...
Oh, when you say, yeah, where do I start from the beginning? It's like, great, you didn't even have a bulleted list to keep you focused. This is gonna be great.
The beginning. At first, when you started with Elden Ring and you go into this open world, your eyes kind of go wide. You're like, whoa. And you go...
Are there shortcut keys to change the playback speed?
Into this open world, your eyes...
I'm debating if I want to screenshot these.
Kind of go wide. You're like, whoa.
Not immediately, Phil, for me, because the AAA industry is oversaturated with open world games. Maybe what you're saying would have been jaw-dropping for, I don't know, the beginning of PS3 era, I guess.
Dark Souls never looked like this before, right? Dark Souls is always kind of linear when it comes to the way that the dungeons go. Although admittedly with Dark Souls, especially the first one and second one, there's a lot of open world aspect where you can do things in different order.
Not
Never
really.
before have you seen a vast open world like this. And immediately being thrown into this world.
Do you want to do level 2 or level 3 first? Damn, that's so open world.
Learning how to run and jump and do scaling.
No offense to
stuff
Dark
that you
Souls.
really weren't able to do in previous games.
What?
Learning how to run and jump and do scaling and stuff that you really weren't able to do in previous games from FromSoft.
What?
Was pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Once you get the horse, it's a whole new aspect, right? A whole new
The
aspect of
horse.
riding around fast, and the horse gameplay absolutely is a great new addition because now you have variety in how you play the game.
Variety
Are you going
horse.
to tackle this boss on foot like a traditional Dark Souls boss fight, or are you actually going
Think
to ride the
Dark
horse and try to use
Souls.
those new implements? The cool thing about the horse is, in some cases, it's an asset. You can move faster. You can move with a giant boss and
asset?
stay near their legs. But in some cases, it's a detriment.
What kind of an asset? Are we talking about stonks?
Because the horse does not have a dodge roll with iframes, meaning
That would be
if you're in a boss fight
hilarious.
and the boss
Dude, I want the modding community to do a dodge roll for Torrent. It would look so derpy and amazing.
does a big attack, unless you can jump over it or get out of the way, you're taking that hit, and there ain't
Or
nothing you
Torrent.
can do about it. So
Okay.
it's kind of a double-edged sword in a lot of cases, and it's very interesting to learn when do you want to use the horse and when don't you. Now, there are actually certain set
Nay, I
times
say,
you cannot use the
nay.
horse.
I do not
And that's
want to use
because
the
the game is
horse.
saying you're now in a tougher area. There's going to be a particular boss fight story element, or maybe you're entering one of the legacy dungeons.
Okay, this was another, like, minor pet peeve, like, in the sense that it's just like, we have a mountain of evidence that Phil was reading guides, even before the really shitty mod Discord leak, but Legacy Dungeon is not a term that I think the game itself ever says. It is something that's said on Fextra Life. And it's just like, can you just try? Can you just try to not be this lazy hiding? Like, just all of this? He also, I distinctly remember him referring to one of the enemies by their names, like the Revenant, I think it was called, and that's the guy with the spidery kind of multi-armed dude, and he won't stop attacking you, and he screams, and I hate him. He's really awful if you're a dagger build. Yeah, he was referring to them by name, and I don't think there's a single item that, like, capital R Revenant is listed. Just things like that.
Where they don't want you to have that kind of maneuverability, and that makes sense in my opinion, but the horse is used really well in the game. And one thing that I can absolutely
Torrent's
tell
okay.
you
Not
is
good
one of the
for a
major
dagger build.
improvements that Elden Ring did over previous FromSoft games. The platforming is dramatically improved.
No.
Actually trying to jump and land on a pinpoint spot.
Torrent is really good for the platforming. He circumvents the really bad on foot platforming because it's still a FromSoft game and it's platforming. You just gotta tough it out, you know?
It's way easier in this game. The horse
yes and no.
actually platforms really well, although every once in a while you may have a little bit of extra momentum and accidentally go further than you want, leading to a cheap death.
Well, I think, yeah,
once you learn
Torrent, it's because of the double
how
jump.
exactly these controls work, the game is actually smooth. I have to say, like, I really enjoyed
he
the
played on
platforming
console.
aspect of-
PC version, like, I guess a lot of FromSoft games, the PC ports had a really rough launch. Frame stuttering, frame build up, and then just like speeding up out of nowhere. It was pretty rough. It's been rough, man. You know.
Of Elden
But
Ring,
you know,
and
gotta do what you gotta do.
Humongous improvement over any other Dark Souls or any other game that I played from FromSoft. It really helped out a lot. Exploring this giant open world, trying to find all these hidden items and secrets, didn't feel like every single moment you took a jump you were chancing losing all of your runes because you might slip and not land where you wanted to land. More times than not, I actually landed accurately, which was very surprising.
Oh wow, dude.
Now, this game basically has 3 different kinds of gameplay when it comes to dungeons. You've got the open world exploration, where you're going through various different maps. And
B-roll footage would be really nice for this.
They'd be little normal enemies, kind of mid-boss enemies that are larger and have more of a health pool.
Kinda mid-boss.
And sometimes random encounters of open world bosses. There's
Not really
also
random, is it?
What I would compare to the Chalice dungeons of Bloodborne.
Think
These are dungeons that
Bloodborne.
are put into the game to be completely optional. You don't need to do them, and they don't necessarily have anything to do with the story of the game. But they are
for
optional
loot.
challenge dungeons of
Challenge.
different varieties. Some look like a
Wow.
catacomb, some look like a cave, and a lot of the times you're reusing a lot of assets.
Oh,
Same
boy.
type of
Oh, boy.
enemies, the same type of walls, the same types of traps and tricks. At the end of each one of these dungeons, there's a door you have to open. There's a hidden switch inside.
That was a weird
You have to
way
find
he
the hidden
wedged
switch
it
somewhere
in.
in the dungeon, flip it, open the door, get to the boss, kill the boss, get a reward of runes, and usually you get some kind of an item. Could be any.
Wow, he's breaking it down like how he breaks up how hard it is to wash dishes and make and eat and digest dinner. As with everything in his life.
It could be a weapon. It could be a
Spirit
amulet that you
ash.
equip that gives you a stat boost.
Talisman.
It could give you a crafting item. It give you all kinds of stuff. For
No,
beating the
not
boss.
usually at the end
Now,
of dungeons.
the good
You actually
thing
would
is
get
that
something you
especially
could
early
use.
game when you're trying to get your bearings and learn how to play the game, these optional dungeons are very fun. But it definitely needs to be said, these
boy.
optional dungeons are incredibly repetitive, grindy, and boring, especially once you get
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. With a counterpoint, catacombs, caves, and those smaller dungeons are very short form. Oh god, hang on. For some stupid reason, I wanted to say reprieval. Okay, I'm getting gen brain through proxy. They give you a nice change of pace from the monumentous open world. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of reused assets, but like I said, they're so short that in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. At least you're not encountering 800 Draugrs every single time. Hey, I'm looking at you, Skyrim Dragon, in the back. At least I think you're a dragon. Kind of looks like it's a face hugger coming out of the PS5.
get to around the second half of the game. So it's kind of, but it definitely needs to be said, these optional dungeons are incredibly repetitive, grindy, and boring, especially once you get to around the second half of the game.
There's
So it's kind of-
always something at the end of these, though. Like, that's the thing. He accidentally implied that there would only be, like, a crafting item. And I don't remember those mini dungeons ever doing that. It's like a spirit ash, a talisman, maybe a weapon. And, like, yeah, they're not guaranteed to be useful for your build, but, like, it's loot. The most basic RPG 101 thing. Hey, let's go see what's in the treasure chest.
Kind of like it's nice they're there. If you want to do them, great. But even me, after doing such a lengthy playthrough, found myself wanting to skip those dungeons by the end of the game.
Yeah, I
didn't
felt it
feel like
too,
you were
but
adding anything to
that's
my
why you take a
playthrough,
break.
Except every once in a while, randomly running into a really good item. And I do have to say, that is a little bit kind of a disappointment, and here's why.
It's not a legacy dungeon, though. They're
When you
sub-dungeons.
have so many of these optional dungeons,
Oh boy, we're gonna go in
you have
circles.
no idea when you
Brace
encounter one if it's
yourselves.
worth your time or not.
What the
If you don't
fuck,
particularly
dude?
feel underpowered or underleveled, and you don't need those extra runes of doing the dungeon, what about the end item? Is it worth it or not? In some of these
I don't know, just fucking read a guide then.
dungeons, I got items that were never for a build that I wanted to use.
Yeah,
and
boo
other
fucking
times I
who,
got a
welcome to
rare weapon that was
RPGs.
incredibly good, and I ended up using it for the rest of the game.
Okay.
So, it's kind of a trade-off. It's
I
like,
love
if
that
do
for
it,
ya.
If I do it, great, but that's a lot of time invested. So, it's kind of interesting that they're in there, and there is a ton of them, but you basically have to judge for yourself whether or not there's something you want to do. You absolutely do not have to do them to complete the game.
Excuse me, text message. Okay, I've actually unpaused. Alright, I'm back. Let's
Then,
get back into it.
It's kind of interesting that they're in there, and there is a ton of them.
It's interesting,
you
but I
basically
hate
have to
them.
judge for yourself whether or not there's something you want to do. You absolutely do not have to do them.
Oh
to
shit,
complete the
sorry,
game.
my mic arm.
Then there's the legacy dungeons. And
Yeah.
the legacy dungeons are, in my opinion, the best part of Elden Ring. Because legacy dungeons in
Okay.
Elden Ring are equivalent to the actual standard dungeons of Dark Souls games.
Dungeons?
Elden Ring are equivalent to the actual standard dungeons of Dark Souls
Dungeons.
games.
Dumas
They're
and
gonna
the
be set area,
dungeons.
whether it's a castle, a manor set in a lava field of a volcano, a floating city out
Oh,
in the
you mean
distance.
volcano
Whatever
manor?
it is, it's going to be a
Whoa.
typical Dark Souls dungeon.
manor
There's gonna
with
be
a
lot of
volcano?
exploration, a lot of enemies that are very cheap and can kill you with only a couple of hits, lurking around every corner. If you fully explore, you're going to find a lot of fun
Sorry,
optional
this
stuff.
inflection
And a
is
lot of the
getting to
times
me.
there'll be optional bosses and optional ways to get around these stages. It's not necessarily a linear path to the end. When you get to the end, you will end up having a big boss fight. In some cases, some of these legacy dungeons actually have multiple big boss fights. Okay? So
Yeah.
that being said, it's
Sub-bosses.
great, and I absolutely loved every single legacy dungeon that I went up against in Elden Ring. I don't even have a complaint about a single one of them. Okay? How many are there? There's a lot. I was counting in my
That
head
was
last
useful.
night trying to recap everything I did in the game, and I can tell you there's at least 15. So that's an absolute ton of legacy
okay?
style
You
content.
sure about
if
that,
you
fam?
like Dark Souls
You said a ton.
or Demon Souls, you're absolutely gonna love those legacy dungeons in Elden Ring.
Yeah, thanks. If you liked FromSoft games, you're gonna love this FromSoft game. That plays like FromSoft game. Fucking awesome.
Now, over the course of the game,
Oh boy.
you're going to be doing such a mix of stuff. Open world exploration. Oh, an optional dungeon. Is this a legacy dungeon? All right. You're
Is
gonna
it?
find points of grace.
Okay.
Points of grace are equivalent to bonfires in Dark Souls. They're your resting spots, and they're where you do all kinds of things like leveling up, assigning all your inventory and your equipment load. But in some cases, they will point you in a direction in the world, and when you're playing, admittedly, the first thing you think is, oh, they're telling me where to go.
Yes.
Wrong. Points
Yes.
of grace can literally point to anything in the game that's a point of interest. It might
No, you dumbass. It's pointing you to like the most important parts to move the story forward. But it's vague that it encourages you to still do your exploring. It's... Oh my god.
might point you to one of the legacy dungeons. It could point you to a cave. It could point you to absolutely nothing. They really don't seem to have
No.
any bearing because they point all over the place.
No,
So
they point
following
to
those initial points of grace,
northwest,
you immediately get
northeast,
confused,
yeah.
wondering where you're supposed to go in the game.
No!
And that seems to be the running thought of the game, is never to really be clear on what your objective is. where
It's
you're
a
supposed to go, what you're
FromSoft.
supposed to do. Now, maybe that's part of the charm of the game.
It's-
Because having a game this open world,
How the fuck have I played fewer FromSoft games than Phil? And yet, I understand this better than him. Like, what the fuck?
might feel like it's completely unique from the other previous Dark Souls games. It's very rare when you're going to run into a situation where you're going to be like, oh, I don't know how to go, or I'm stuck, right? I can't make any progress. In Dark Souls games, that could happen a lot. There's a boss you absolutely have to beat to make progress in the game, and if you can't beat the boss, you're never going to beat it. In the case of Elden Ring, it's very different. If you're going somewhere and you can't beat a certain boss or beat a certain dungeon, leave. Go do something else. There's another 100 other things.
If you don't like this stream, leave.
That's one of the huge reasons why people have said that Elden Ring is the
under
most
his eyes.
accessible from software games
Accessible.
ever made. That Elden Ring is the most accessible. That's one of the huge reasons why people have said that Elden Ring is the most accessible from software games
that's some
ever
good shit
made.
right there.
Yeah, I have to agree with that point. That if you're able to go off and do whatever you want at any point in the game, and you can never really get stuck.
Hey, this game gave me like the Skyrim bug.
To level up,
Vel and I, this was our new Skyrim. We not wasted. We lost entire weekends to it.
Abso-pos-freaking-lutely.
Abso-pos.
But abso-pos-freaking-lutely. You can say, whoa, this game is confusing. I have no idea if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to make progress.
Yeah, I get everyone. Yes, we get it. Like, FromSoft games can be obtuse. It's okay to use a guide, okay? Just be transparent about it.
Progress. That happens all the time.
That's why the grace points have that general arc to let you know, hey, hey, buddy, go this way.
If you're not using a walkthrough, a guide, or watching someone else who's already played tell you what to do, you will end up getting lost and walking in circles, having no clear-cut path of where to go or what to do. There's even optional ways to do things in the game that you're not aware of. You might be in a dungeon you've been in for 5 hours just to realize, oh, it was actually an optional dungeon. Oh, shit, I thought that was story. Nope, optional dungeon. You didn't even have to do it. Now.
Okay.
The game also has a lot of different ways to play it. Whether it's a melee build, a magic
variety?
build, a ranged build with, say, arrows and throwing daggers.
Okay, that's a meme build. Nice one. What? No, I'm not. The crackpots, that's fine. Yeah, all arrows builds. That sounds like
a combination.
Sorry.
This game has all different aspects from
that was
previous
funny
Dark
to
Souls
me.
games, and what I mean by that is
it shouldn't have been that
single
funny,
wheel,
but it
you can
was to me.
Two-hand, you can dual
Prayer
wield
hands,
weapons if
the
you have
sword.
the right stats to do it. All these weapons scale along with things that are very similar to the previous Dark Souls games, like faith, intelligence. Those are things from previous games that you've played from Software. So if you're someone coming in from having played previous From Software games like Dark Souls, you're going to feel right at home playing Elden Ring. And you know, that may
tongue roll
playing Elden Ring. And you know,
damn, what was that?
That may actually lead to one
God. The accessibility argument.
Points about the game is that this game is actually Dark Souls 4.
Wow.
Some people are going to be up in arms. Oh.
Whoa. What?
Endless trash. Oh my God. No, this is Elden Ring. This is a new franchise. This game absolutely, positively, in every way, shape, and form is Dark Souls 4. Okay?
Do I have to repeat myself?
You can argue it. It's absolutely Dark Souls 4. There's no difference. It's bonfires. No. Oh, those are points of grace.
Holy fuck.
Oh, you can dual wield. You can level it up with stats, just like Dark Souls. Those are runes you got. No, they're not. They're souls. It's exactly the same game engine. In fact, in the entirety of the game, there's only
I'm gonna go uninstall Minecraft.
I noticed in combat that make this different from previous Dark Souls games.
Jumping.
The first is the inclusion of a stagger system that was actually taken, of all things, from Sekiro. There is an unseen meter somewhere on every enemy.
Poise?
Once you hit an enemy a certain amount of times, they stagger.
Oh my fucking God. It's because he always plays face tank builds. He doesn't understand. Poise has always been a thing. Because he's always made it like a minimal issue. Dude, my brain has expanded into the 4th dimension.
Meaning they hunch over the enemy. Once you hit an enemy a certain... There is an unseen meter somewhere...
Critical attacks, too. Oh my God. I literally watched someone play a little bit of Bloodborne, and I saw that a parry counter crit attack. Oh my God.
Once you hit an enemy a certain amount of times, they stagger. meaning they hunch over and they're weak. This gives
Wow,
rise
thanks for
to big
explaining that
bosses.
one.
And once that happens, you can either get a move that's like a punishing move, a stab, an impalement, whatever it may be, that does a big chunk of damage, or, oh, they're stunned. Now I can either heal, get my stats back, or maybe you want to do a combo instead of the big, powerful kind of punishing move.
Basic
you can do all those
combos
things.
or basic combat
Now, this
info,
was present
thanks.
in Sekiro, never really present previously in Dark Souls games. So
Yeah,
this
it was.
is definitely an addition. In addition, the other major big change, because you
That's
can
how you
jump
like beat
now,
Gwyn. You just parry
jump
him.
attacks are ridiculously overpowered in this game.
Good job, moron.
At first, I thought it was kind of a joke as I started playing the game, and people were
No, you
actually
didn't.
telling me in comments on my stream, in the comments of the videos, hey, you should really utilize that jump attack. That
Yeah,
jump
sure,
attack's
it's
really
the
good.
chat's
I
fault,
thought,
sure.
You know, maybe those people are just being silly. The jump attack is by far
Squid!
the most overpowered component I've ever seen in a From
So why did you use it for 122 hours?
Software game. When you do a jump attack in this game, you dramatically increase the stun that you deal with that attack.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, as
It's a
you're striking
trade-off.
two-hand powerful weapons or even dual wield, you're basically doing 2 attacks in one with double stun. This attack can be
I'm
abused,
admitting my
exploited,
build
and
fucking
completely
sucked.
dominates entire lengths of the game, including entire
Haha,
boss
what's
fights,
respect?
become actually afterthoughts, because the jump attack dominates them so
Wait, what's
great,
afterthoughts?
become actually dominates entire lengths of the game, including entire boss fights, become actually afterthoughts.
Again, Elden Ring introduced the ability to just redistribute your stats. You fucking moron.
Because the jump attack dominates them so badly. I don't know what they
Jowl
were thinking
shake.
with the jump attacks in this game, because
Okay, in my opinion, FromSoft games are designed to be broken. Like, yeah, they still will do patches and stuff because they feel things are a little too broken, but that's like eye of the beholder kind of thing. But yeah, they implemented it so you could use it if you wanted. But
I've seen, oh, there's abusable things. You can abuse.
It's not good
a
for
blood
streaming.
Where you slash a guy, an enemy enough that he bleeds out. You can abuse a stun locking spell. Okay, great. But man, the jump attack is something you don't even have to try. You just start doing it like.
oh, that's a great quote.
Oh my, you don't even have to try. You just start doing it like, oh my god, this is so good. And
Oh man, these are some good freeze frames tonight.
the beginning of the game, there was an optional boss that I was fighting that killed me, like, I'm not even exaggerating, 50 times, because I was so stubborn. I wanted to kill this boss even
Try
though I
100.
wasn't really leveled and ready for it yet. Then one of my viewers said, all you had to do was jump attack. And I really? Yeah, if I had jumped attacked, he stuns. It's just that simple. The jump attack is ridiculously broken in this game.
We're going in
But
circles.
seriously, if you look at everything in this game, oh, when you kill one of the major bosses, you get a rune you can equip to your body.
Kill?
This game. Oh, when you kill one of the major bosses, you get a rune you can equip to your body, and then use an item to charge the rune. Oh, you mean like embering in Dark Souls?
Oh my fucking god.
You know, the souls are now called runes, and you level up exactly the same way. The stat requirements are exactly the same. The attacks, the way you fight, it's exactly the same.
Okay.
Now, if you're a fan of FromSoft,
Oh
you
my
probably
God.
love that. However,
Oh no.
one of my major criticisms of this
Oh
game
boy.
is the fact that From Software is starting a new IP, has opportunity to do things very differently,
Why? Why? It's FromSoft.
and they decided to go right down the path of all the previous games.
What?
I was expecting something
Why?
different
Why?
in Elden Ring, and quite frankly, I didn't really get it. All I got was Dark
What?
Souls 4. Now, by
Okay.
the way, I like that. I like Dark Souls. I was happy to
Hand
play
to
Dark
chest.
Souls 4. But man, if you were looking for something different,
Why?
original, or veering off the beaten path
Why?
of what FromSoft has done before, you came to the wrong place.
Yeah. So then they could get a refund because customers are allowed that. Like,
This game is absolutely Dark Souls 4 in
would you stop it?
all of its similarities. Now, one
My
of the
bird
major
probably thinks I'm
criticisms that I
yelling
have
at
to
him.
say against that is if you're making a new franchise like they
Oh
claim
my
this
god,
was,
new franchise.
wouldn't you think maybe this is ample opportunity to look at the game engine from the previous games
What?
and say how can we improve upon it? Adding a
Just decompile and change the code, guys. It's so easy.
jump attack, okay, it's a new attack, it's incredibly OP. Adding the stagger system from Sekiro, okay, it's nice to have, it's something different and a new way to play.
Just do a fucking dagger build, Phil. I had to stare at Radigan's ass for like 6 hours because I was having to dodge him all the time and do extremely close combat. If you're gonna whine this much about disengaging from the game, I don't know, you could have fucking done something about it.
But how about you make the controls more fucking responsive?
Oh, this is okay.
Unresponsive controls are one of the
No.
most huge complaints that people have always levied against the From Software franchises. When you go to attack, there's a wind-up, a startup,
Yeah. Fucking adapt.
before your guy will actually
All these F-bombs. God, I need to get my swear jar going.
attack. When you go to roll, there's a delay before your
Oh,
character will
like in every FromSoft game.
roll. And
I
as
think the
much-
platforming's worse, to be honest. Like, in terms of stuff that I feel FromSoft could improve upon, the animation timing isn't really a problem for me.
as FromSoft fans and fanboys.
Oh
want
my
to try to say
God.
it doesn't exist. is
It does
FromSoft
exist.
Fans and fanboys.
I was never denying that it exists. But you were making it out to be way worse than it is. You're not playing Super Meat Boy.
want to try to say it doesn't exist. It absolutely, positively does. All you need to do
Nice straw
is
man.
play a Dark Souls game or Elden Ring, close
Looking at
it,
chat for
and
validation.
open up Neo 1 or 2.
Neo isn't FromSoft. Wow, that was louder than I was expecting.
See, here's a similar franchise, a similar style of game that's supposed to be balls to the wall hard, but when you dodge, your
Bows
dodge
of
comes out
steel.
immediately. When you go to parry or block, immediate response.
Also, asshole, why do you bring up Neo? You don't want to play any other Soulsborne game, but conveniently you've got Neo in your butt pocket just so that you can have a gotcha of something you didn't want to learn how to, like, overcome challenge-wise.
Night and day from Software games. I don't know why From Software didn't take the opportunity to say, oh, new franchise, new rules, let's make our game more responsive.
What are you
Because what
talking
I can
about?
definitively tell you, after playing this for 120
Also, Phil, again, dagger build gives you a very responsive, super fast slash attack if you're holding 2 of them. The trade-off being your DPS isn't as good, which is why bleed is amazing.
22 hours, is that some of these big enemies in boss fights would have been way better if you could actually immediately respond to what's going on the screen so you can react appropriately. The problem
Bro, okay.
is because there's delay in the controls, a lot of stuff in the game ends up being very cheap. So what you'll notice is a
Sure,
lot
but
of the
that's the
bosses
nature of the
tend to have
beast.
Really long, very cheap. So what you'll notice is a lot of the bosses tend to have really long
Squint.
wind-up attacks.
And you
There's a
couldn't
boss
dodge
coming
it?
at you, and man, he wants to hit you.
Oh, please bring the
So
knife
what does that
out.
boss
Please.
do? Does he just come up and swing? No. That boss pulls out his giant fucking sword. He leans back like a pro baseball player. And he leans and leans and leans. It's coming. He's gonna swing eventually.
He's gonna consume.
No, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh. Hey, look over there. Huh, what's that? Ha ha ha. Boom, hits you,
What the fuck was this?
and you instantly die.
What? So you're telling me you could see the bosses moving a mile away and yet you couldn't time your dodge roll? Cool.
And that happens all the time in Elden Ring. Why is there so much wind up in most of the delay or most of the attacks? Why are most of the attacks delayed?
So wait, you're telling me that, okay, if there are bosses with long wind-ups, doesn't that balance the mechanic out?
Because you can't fucking react to them. What you have to are most of the attacks delayed because you can't fucking react to them. What you have to do is go to fight the boss, die a couple times, see their ridiculous attacks, and then say,
no shit.
Now I will dodge early. And then you'll dodge them. It's nearly impossible to actually react to something the first time on the fly and get away with it.
No shit. Okay, Phil, even in games like if I'm fighting Eggman and any of his ridiculous giant, you know, they have their weakness is the giant fuck me light on top of their heads. Even if you know where to hit them, you still have to learn the patterns getting up to that light. So like, it's not guaranteed in any goddamn video game that you're gonna get it the first time. Like, this is something I was beating myself up over while I've been playing DMC 1, and it's like, of course you're not gonna know it right away.
You have to see the pattern, you have to see the boss over and over and over in order to learn it and beat it, because everything has to be done early. Go play Neo 1 and 2, and that is not the case at all. And when I played those games,
play other Soulsborne games, so you have a better argument. I don't fucking know where I'm going with this.
Now, think how different this game could have
so
been.
Many F-bombs, I'm sorry.
A million bosses that are all giant lumbering creatures that have to wind up.
Let me clown mode it again.
Stagger delay. Instead, you could actually have fast bosses.
Think Bloodborne? Also, isn't this one of the more aggressive Souls games? Like, what do you want? Go fight Malenia another time. I don't know.
What a novel concept. A game where the
What's wrong with slow, methodical combat? Are you serious right now?
Bosses move quickly, and now you have to react to what they do with the parry
You'd be
system?
bitching at them.
Amazing.
That's why you're not playing Soulsborne.
On PlayStation
Besides
5,
FromSoft.
that's the console I played the game on, by the way. So it's not an excuse that, PS5 has input delay. I played Sifu.
No,
Sifu does this. There's no reason why Elden Ring couldn't. Besides,
This isn't Sifu. Oh my god, we circled back to Sifu. Help! Why are all of his arguments circling back to Sifu?
Want to have any kind of changes to the gameplay. They wanted it to play like Dark Souls to appeal to...
Didn't they make Sekiro so that you could try a different kind of combat? Like, they literally already made that game. Why don't you go replay it, Phil? What, it's off the conveyor belt? Damn.
To the fans of the franchise. Wanted it to play like Dark Souls to appeal to the fans of the franchise.
Yeah, it's a FromSoft game, bitch.
But you didn't call it Dark Souls 4.
Who
and
cares?
I have an issue with that.
Why?
If you want to make Dark Souls 4, then call it Dark Souls 4.
Why?
I don't think anyone would have complained if you made Dark Souls 4. Why call it Elden Ring? It's the same game.
What?
It literally is fucking Dark Souls 4 because it's just Dark Souls 3 with a few improvements and changes. Okay?
Okay. I finally am realizing. So this is Phil's caught in that circle of wanting a game to innovate so that he can complain it innovated too much and then shouldn't have innovated at all. And then when it doesn't innovate, the whole vicious cycle starts anew.
All right. Now, I could sit here and nitpick this game into oblivion. I'm not going to do that.
Why don't you go play Oblivion?
What I really like, and what I actually have gripes with in Elden Ring. Number one,
Here we
even
go.
though a lot of people criticized it, I like the graphics. I think that the
It's always fucking graphics with this man. Every time.
gothic style of the game is really nice. It fits it perfectly. I wasn't looking for Horizon Forbidden West level graphics in this game because of what I knew it was going to entail.
Okay.
I absolutely love the visual appeal of the game. The lighting effects, the effects during fights, really neat. Although admittedly, some of the boss fights have so many effects going on, you can't see what the hell's going on. You have to redo that boss a bunch of times to understand. But man, it is visually appealing to me. It really looks cool. I actually really like The platforming, as I've already explained, I feel like they really
No,
improved
it
that
was not
traversal
special in
aspect of
this.
the games from previous FromSoft games. This is the best one. Responsive, you can land where you want. Really well
Not
done in
really.
that regard. I really like the
I'd
fact
rather play Bomberman Hero if I want to
when you're playing
platform
the game, you have no
instead of
idea
a
what lies
FromSoft
around any corner.
platforming.
It could be absolutely nothing. It could be a useful. Having no idea the fact that
Whoops.
land where you want. Really well done in that regard. I really like the fact that
Wait, I thought this was the
when
list
you're
of
playing
gripes.
the game, you have no idea what lies around any corner. It could be
Too bad
absolutely
you
nothing.
did.
It could be a useful item or piece of crap. It could be a bunch of generic enemies. It could be a hidden boss.
But
you
you
don't know.
hate
and that's
that.
a cool aspect of the game that, unlike other Dark Souls games where you kind of know what to expect, in this game you
What?
never know what to expect. In addition, I really feel the strong point of the game is its dungeons. Its legacy dungeons. Let
Oh
me
my god,
clarify that.
we're in a
I do
loop.
like the optional dungeons, and I think at first, when you're first getting into the game and you're trying to get into the swing of things, you'll want optional content to do. You want to level your character more. You want to look for rare items. You want to try.
You know
to
what? I need
get
Shadow's
into some
opinion.
build and see
Like,
some
fuck
cool
it. We're in a
bosses.
circle. What do you
But
think, bro?
There's no doubt
the
about
dungeons
it.
get incredibly repetitive. The legacy dungeons, however, are all varied, different, unique, interesting, and I did not dislike a single one. Whether you're in snowy mountaintops, whether you're in a cavernous volcano, whether you're underground in a river of blood, it's all fun. And I think that the level design of
I
these
don't
legacy
remember
dungeons
him
is some
liking
of the
Lake
best
of
they've
Rot
ever
at
done.
all. He really just
Any
wanted to
game I've
clock
ever
out
seen.
in that
Seriously, it's that good. Okay? I will compliment them. I
Didn't
think that
he
the
skip the
dungeons of this game are better than the
Dragonkin
dungeons of
because
Dark
it had a
Souls. I will
dex weapon that
absolutely
it
say
dropped?
I liked them all. I never had a moment where I was in one of these legacy dungeons and I was like, oh man, I'm bored or this is annoying. However, the
Pretty
optional
sure you
dungeons,
whined
that
about
did
the
happen.
Dragon
In the
King.
optional dungeons, they did feel confusing, repetitive, boring, annoying. Not in the legacy dungeons, okay? And I will say there were a few bosses, I'm not going to name them because obviously that's a ginormous spoiler, but there were a few bosses
Sure.
in this game that are kind of unique and fun, and I really liked them, okay?
Tell us about
So, the
Rykard and
strengths of
how
this
he's
game
just like
are the
Demon
graphics,
Souls.
The neatness
Graphics!
of the open world, never knowing what's around any corner, the dramatic improvement to traversal in the game, and I really, really enjoyed every legacy dungeon that I was in. Okay? Now for my gripes. Okay? Number one, this is just a nitpick, too
Okay.
similar to Dark Souls. If they really
Tell you what, I'm gonna go on a quick field trip because I was typing down what I want to get a sound effect clip of. Dude, I am so glad I paused. This took way longer than I expected, but I found it. I found the line.
Did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter?
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you
I love that line. I'm gonna have to save that for later. Let's see. I couldn't remember which console it was for. It turns out it was NES. That was the wrong guess. I did like SNES, N64, 32X. It doesn't matter. It was NES.
were going to make a new franchise, I enjoyed every legacy dungeon that I was in. Okay?
Graphics.
Now for my gripes. Okay? Number one, this is just a nitpick, too similar to Dark Souls. If they really were going to make a new franchise, make it different.
I'd rather be looking at
make it
video
not.
game
Number
commercials
two,
right now.
Get rid of the delay in the controls. Make it more responsive. You can have better boss fights.
Go
and better
play
enemies
Sekiro.
that are
I
faster
don't
if you
know
can
what else
respond
to
them.
tell
If
you.
can't, the game is limited
play
to mostly
daggers.
lumbering slow enemies. It's really
Stop
annoying
doing
that they
colossal
still haven't
swords.
improved this over all the years that they've been making.
It's almost like delayed controls are a balancing mechanic for the fuck you sticks of the game.
Okay. Number three. The open world
Oh boy.
is good
Too much game in my video game?
the first half of the game. Okay? At some point, you're going to pass the initial three areas. You're going to start getting into this area called the Altus Plateau. This is right outside the capital city. And this is where the game does start to fall apart. Because
Fall
once you get
apart?
to the Altus Plateau, you're like, wow, it kind of looks like the first area, Limgrave.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's a little
kind
bit
of the
of a-
same kind of exploration.
whatever.
Yeah, again, here we go. What you're going to start to find around halfway through the game
Oh
is
boy.
that the game becomes incredibly repetitive, incredibly grindy, and because of that, kind of boring in the open world segments.
Then you shouldn't have done grace percent. You don't have to. You need, like, on average, 2 great runes to start getting an ending. Which, that was a terrible grammar, but you know what I mean. Like, you didn't have to do all this. You could have just done one quick build and said, hey guys, 3 months down the line I'm gonna play with a different build and we're gonna do a different path.
For example, you'll notice the same enemy reused again and again and again.
Didn't I already
and
talk
again
about
and
this? Oh my
again
fucking
and
god.
Again. I can't tell you how many troll giants.
So, I've shared this in Freedom Chats before, and I might as well mention it here again. I think the reason why this bothers Phil so much is because his playstyle is so removed from actually playing the game that all the enemies might as well be JPEGs to him. So he's getting annoyed because he's seeing the same Hogan over and over again, and he's like, I want something new.
And putrid tree monsters.
Also, I'm sorry if I already mentioned this. Like, dude, I'm getting short-term memory listening to this man. But the counter argument is that, yeah, you're gonna encounter recycled enemies, but there's usually, like, slightly different contexts, like in the area that you find them. Maybe they're paired with like I've seen a rune bear paired with demi-humans, like something as simple as that. And then the terrain with that rune bear, really, I hated it, but like, you know, oh no.
Killed in this playthrough. The ridiculous reuse of enemies gets really, really tired about halfway through the game.
All right, Mr. Skyrim man.
To the point when you start doing the
time to take your medication, Skyrim
you get
man.
bored with it. I've seen most of this in the game, and actually the end game stuff, the open world exploration, actually is kind of a cop out. All they do is change the climate. It's the same kind of traversal, the same kind of enemies, the same kind of stuff.
Man, the horse is so cool, but man, the horse is so boring.
So it really feels to me like the first half of the game, when you're first introduced to the open world stuff, oh, this is awesome. But as soon as you get to that second half of the game, man, it becomes a slog, because you
maybe you were the slog.
Have to go through these open world areas, and they're just not interesting anymore. You've seen most of what the game had to offer.
Yeah, you were ready to quit the game by halfway, for sure.
Dragons are so abundant in this game that at first they start off as giant boss fights, then they actually become regular enemies.
It's a FromSoft game. They do that all the time. Because why the fuck not? You get that great... You get that rush of dopamine, knowing that it's like, oh, I've seen you before, bitch, and I could smack you up nice and quick. Like, it's it's so simple, but it's really cool too. And for me, I did get annoyed at basically every dragon plays about the same. Even if they have like a different breath attack or they shoot lightning, they have the same pitfalls as all the other dragons. But at the same time, that'd be like me saying, oh, I'm so sick of fighting demi-humans and the zombies. Oh my god, why? It's literally just big enemy instead of small enemy. Gee, oh no, they were recycled. Oh my god.
And then by the end of the game, there's boss fights of dragons that are so easy because you fought it a million times, it feels like you're fighting a regular enemy even though it has a boss meter. It's ridiculous.
They just needed some more, like, some new move sets. That's about it. Like, that is definitely a nitpick I have, but ultimately, whatever.
Assets. Now I've played Neo, and even though it has a boss meter, it's ridiculous reuse of assets. Now I've played Neo, and I've played other franchises where this is a...
Why are you always bringing up Neo? That's your FAP game. Why? Why are you bringing up the Incident video game?
Problem too.
Stop.
But in this game, it's jarring because never before in Dark Souls,
yes, it has.
Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, has this really been an issue. It's only in Elden Ring.
No.
You get about halfway through.
Whoa, dude, there's like more than one Moonlight Butterfly. Oh my god, uninstall. Write an angry letter to FromSoft.
You end up getting really disappointed by the fact that the game reuses so much, so often.
It wasn't enough for me to rage quit.
The major problem that I have with this game,
drink, sip,
is that it was designed in a way
that
if you actually actively try to do all the meaningful content in it, at one point you will be overpowered and will be
Captain Obvious has taken the wheel.
steamrolling through certain areas of the game no matter what.
Oh
It's
my god, this
actually
is the right order
impossible
argument.
if you are just actively playing, killing the enemies, leveling up with the rooms,
Gee, I wonder why people did multiple runs, Phil. I wonder.
and doing everything you would normally do in a FromSoft game to not be over leveled by about the time you hit the halfway point of the game. When you, again, this halfway point seems to be like the critical point where the game starts to fall apart. I did the first major 3 areas, and I did 2 underground secret dungeons that were in said areas. I did a few optional boss fights that were very important to the story, and by the time that I got
Where's
to
the hat and
halfway
glasses,
point,
dude?
everything was done in
Scam.
a couple of hits. It was just absolutely positive.
Message deleted? Message deleted!
Were very important to the story, and by the time that I got to the halfway point, everything was dying in a couple of hits. It was
Oh,
just
well, their
absolutely
name, too.
positively, ridiculously over the top, broken. It was not fun anymore.
Okay, sorry, I got distracted like Phil did.
Very important to the story, and by the time that I got to the halfway point, everything was dying in a couple of hits.
That's your
It was
fucking
just
fault.
absolutely
Respec.
Positively, ridiculously over the top, broken. It was not fun anymore. 'cause
Shouldn't have
everything was
used
so
it.
easy. I was already.
Here's another idea. If you didn't want to respec, go get a level 1 weapon. No Ash of War. There you go. Easy as piss idea right there. You probably had plenty of level 1 weapons stashed. You could just done that. Oh, it's too hard. It's so hard to go teleport and teleport to the queen to respec. Okay, just go to any side of grace. Get a basic bitch weapon. Boom. Challenge immediately harder.
arriving in totally new areas of the map that I had never seen before, and everything was underleveled to me. And I was like, what happened here? And the answer to this
You
is,
happened.
FromSoft expects that some people will not want to do all the optional content.
Yes!
So because they're not doing it, you can't overlevel that area, because then that area wouldn't be fair. How are they going to get through that area if they didn't do the 2 optional dungeons that you did and leveled up a ton extra, right? So I can understand that, but then I have to say, then don't do it that way. Have it so that there's adaptive difficulty. When you reach a certain...
Why? Like Skyrim? Where everyone just scales to whatever equipment you have and in some cases renders it pointless? What do you...
An area, if you're at a certain level cap, all the enemies auto scale to that level cap.
That's it.
And now you have enemies that are challenging again. I understand that maybe that's not what they were going for, but it really stands to reason that if you're someone who wants to enjoy this game all in one go, you can't. You will get to points where the game becomes so impossibly over the top easy because you just chose to do all the content. And that's not
Like, this is what I don't get. He wants to be such a hardcore gamer bro, and he's crying because he didn't do something to make it so he could do gamer bro points again. It's supreme laziness.
acceptable. It's just not. It should be a game where if you do
Okay, it does adaptive difficulty, and then you'll cry because you're never strong enough to fight anything unless you spend 1,000 hours learning all the animations or dealing with the delayed inputs.
the content, you're rewarded, not you're actually feeling like sad that you did it. Because when I'm getting to the end of the game and I'm fighting near end game or actual end game bosses, okay, and I'm fighting them and beating them within 20 seconds, I'm not
Fucking...
kidding. One of the hardest bosses
Get
in the
out of my
game,
sight.
I was able to beat in 20 seconds. I didn't use guides. I didn't look
Yes,
anything
you
up. It was just
fucking
naturally
did.
The build that I had used during the game destroyed one of the end game bosses easily. That's pathetic. It shouldn't be like that. This game
You shouldn't
have
be
been
like
scaled
that.
properly, and it's not. And that's unfortunate. Why am I fighting a major story boss
An idiot?
that I can kill within seconds? Then I go next door to an optional dungeon, and that boss kills me for 3 hours, and I can't kill it.
Melania?
You see? There's no correspondence there. It's like they didn't
Oh my
bother
God.
scaling anything in the game at all, or even putting thought into it.
Oh my
They just
God.
threw a bunch of shit onto the map and said,
Ah, it's called, whoa, this area is tough. Whoa, you know what, fuck it. I don't need to explain this. This is stupid.
this will be higher level. This will not.
This isn't a linear hallway. You're in, like, a world. God.
There's one major part of the map. It's called Caelid.
Hi,
One
Caleb.
half of it is for your level at the beginning of the game. The other half is
Uh-huh.
for end game. There is
Okay.
no indication of that anywhere in the game.
How about dying a lot is a great indication, and your damage output versus theirs? How about using a brain cell and observing your television set, which is too far away, so you probably can't even see the damage numbers? This explains a lot.
You'll just be riding, and immediately everything's much harder and just is killing you instantly. You're like, what happened? I'm in the same area. It doesn't even say that. It would be one thing if the climate changed, the lighting changed, the setting changed, and the enemies changed.
You fucked around and find out. Yeah, and found out.
Insanely overpowered for no good reason.
Oh my god.
It really feels like they did not scale the game in any way.
So yeah, you wanted to be able to, like, treat this game like Drano and just fucking plow right through it. First try. Don't want to have to circle back, God forbid.
Logically. And that's a huge disappointment for me. Okay? So it's a mixed bag for me, honestly.
Oh my god.
I look at this game and I say, okay,
for what
I had a ton of
purpose
fun with
do
it,
I
obviously.
exist?
You really think that I wanted to play 122 hours and I wasn't enjoying myself? Of course I would. I had some really fun experiences. Every time that we walked to a new area and I didn't know what to expect and there was a cool new unique boss or whatever, I was like, ah. And then every time I walked into a new area and it was the same kind of open world boring exploration, it was the same enemies over and over. Oh my god, they're really reusing this boss a 7th time? Yes, those moments happened way too often in this game.
Wow.
Okay? Now, I don't want to go on forever, so I'm going to try to wrap
No,
up
but
this.
you will sure try.
In a nutshell,
I
feel like Elden Ring is a great game. However, I feel like it's a good first attempt.
We're gonna get the
doing an open
journalism
world game,
part, aren't
and
we?
that FromSoft will likely do much better in the future. But this doing Elden Ring is a great game. However, I feel like it's a good first attempt.
First
at doing an open
attempt.
world game, and that FromSoft will likely do much better in the future. But this attempt
It's gonna be Dark Souls
absolutely
5.
flawed. There
See
are
you next
so many
year.
shortcomings to this game engine. The delay in the controls, this way too similarity to the previous games in the franchise. The fact that the content gets so repetitive because they reuse the assets so much and the open world fizzles out in the second half. The fact that really
Pure
the
repetitive
legacy dungeons
content.
shine, but against them, everything else in the game kind of looks lackluster because the legacy dungeons are so good. There's
Oh,
so many
Jesus,
things
I'm punching
to
the
criticize.
mic. I
And
guess
the thing
my
that really
muscles
gets me
want to
is that since
punch
this
through
game
the
came
screen.
out, there have been an overabundance of people who
Here
have
we
reviewed
go.
this game and said it's a 10 out of 10.
We're here, boys.
Reviews criticizing the game, saying it has this thing that can be improved, and this thing that can be improved, and this thing that should be improved. 10 out of 10.
Yes.
I am absolutely positively never going to do something like that.
That did. Oh my god, I am so exhausted. He's done so many pre-streams with this argument. And again, it's because this man is incapable of looking at the complete package and thinks, oh my god, I'm gonna have to see if he's gonna do the 10 divided by 10 is 1 argument. As in, a whole? The thing as a whole? Fucking moron.
That's completely dishonest. There are people
No,
out
it's
there-
not dishonest. 10 out of 10 means you gotta go play this. Susan, put down the sandwich, go buy Elden Ring now. Like, that's what it means.
who might have bought this game thinking it's like the best.
You know, if you get 100% on an English essay, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be like the next, I was gonna say Mozart, but you know what, that's musical, but you know what I mean. You're not gonna be the next greatest author because you got 100% on a school project.
Game ever.
It means you did great.
Right? In fact, here's what I can tell you, and I know a ridiculous amount of people will disagree with me on this point, but this
No
is my
shit.
personal opinion. You have a right to
No, fuck off with this gaslighting.
disagree with it. I do not believe this is the best game FromSoft ever made.
You don't think FromSoft makes anything the best of, because you play them to make money. Amazing statement.
I still, to this day, after now completing Elden Ring, I feel that Dark Souls 1 is still the best
Really? Well, he's also played it like 5 times, right?
game in this vein from FromSoftware. Why? Even though Dark Souls 1
I
has a
liked
lot of
FromSoft
flaws,
before they were cool.
everywhere you go in the game seems fresh, interesting, new.
Bro, you don't remember how many times slimes were reused.
exciting, varied. Most of the major bosses are really unique and different. I mean, one of the bosses is
I don't remember a lot of the bosses, to be honest.
a fucking puzzle. It's not even a real boss, and it's glitched to shit. While other bosses are
But
big-time
chaos
boss fights
is-
where you have to learn patterns. It's a really neat and varied game in that regard. It's an eye-opener.
What about the Capra demons that are pasted everywhere in the place with the dragon butts? Phil, are we gonna talk about the lava dragon butts?
Game that a game like that that's ultra difficult can still be ultra fun.
Yeah, so why couldn't Elden Ring?
And never once when I'm playing Dark Souls 1, even as hard as the game is,
Oh,
do
boy.
I feel like I'm bored, I'm wasting my time, or this is all just repetitive bullshit.
Pressing the X button.
Not once in Dark Souls do I feel like
Nice shake.
I felt that way too many times in Elden
So you played it for... Okay.
Ring.
Never
For
mind,
all of
brain
its
fart.
great things that it does and its improvements to the franchise, I shouldn't be bored playing a game like this.
You shouldn't have played it for 120 hours then.
And I was a lot playing Elden Ring. That's not good.
You also spoiled everything about it, so of fucking course you were bored.
There should not have been so much repetition and so much emptiness and so much boredom
Your emptiness.
with the open world and reuse of enemies and assets that I felt like I had a whole stream that just didn't get anywhere and was a waste of my time. I don't ever feel like that when I play Dark Souls 1. Okay?
Okay, whoever's making the This Is How You Don't Play of this, please make sure to do a flashback segment of him complaining about a slow stream or being bored. Hopefully it won't be that hard thanks to Pig Go, but you never know.
Reuse of enemies and assets that I felt like I had a whole stream that just didn't get anywhere and was a waste of my time. I don't ever feel like that when I play Dark Souls 1. Okay? So, here's the thing. I will say this. I think Elden Ring is the second best FromSoft game ever made.
Okay. All this bitching. And it's A tier instead of S tier. Okay.
I actually think you got Dark Souls 1, and then you got Elden Ring. So, if that doesn't say that I don't... That I
So
like
why
the
all
game,
this
I don't know what
bitching?
else does. It's my second favorite game these guys have ever made.
It sounds like
It
you're
has a lot of
faking
content. Let me
this.
tell you, some of the bosses at the end of the game are really neat, unique, fun. The lore,
Unique,
oh god,
unique.
the lore.
What's this?
Confusing as shit, just like any other Dark Souls game. But at the very same time, once you get into it and you start to research it and you're reading the item descriptions and you're trying to make ends meet, there's people putting family trees online of all the characters in the game. Like, oh my god, it's deep lore, it's interesting, it's fun.
Deep
I like that
lore.
about these games that FromSoft puts out. I really do. And this game absolutely excelled at that. I had a ton of fun playing Elden Ring, but I shouldn't be bored with a game that's supposed to be constantly challenging me.
If you want an explanation, rewind the video. I ain't gonna explain myself again.
And constantly risking death, and this game absolutely bored me to tears in certain parts. Why am I so ridiculously overpowered when all I did was the content you put in front of me?
Never
to
a
do?
you problem.
Should I have nerfed my experience?
Yes!
Should I have purposely said, oh, well, I've been told I should skip a bunch of content that's right here and looks interesting because I don't want to have the endgame be over leveled? Ridiculous. It's poor game design. It really is. It's inferior, poor game design. Dark Souls 1 actually does it better in this regard, and that's why I feel this is not as good as that game. Okay? Now, the other thing is people want me to give this game a number review. Excuse
A
me.
money? A money?
The other thing is people want me to give this game a number review. Excuse me.
Money? Money?
Now, the other
Yeah,
thing is
yeah.
people want me to give this game a number review. Excuse me.
I
So
got
many people
spoiled this part.
Screaming. Phil, what is it? It's not going to be a 10
This
out of 10.
cop
You
out
say the game has flaws.
sucks.
It's not, is it going to be 8 out of 10? Is it a 9 out of 10? Ladies and gentlemen, Elden Ring is a perfect case in point example why we need to stop giving arbitrary number scores to video games. Because if you're telling me that the game has flaws, you admit it in your review, and you say the game is a 10 out of 10, you have done a disservice to everyone
Oops,
ever
what the
who
fuck?
listens to or even weighs and balances that review. We have a website right now, Metacritic, right? Where what they do is they weigh and balance reviews. They have aggregate reviews.
Who
And
cares?
they're saying Elden Ring is one of the best games ever made.
Yeah?
Yet the reviews criticize the game.
Yeah?
It doesn't make sense.
What do you
People are
mean?
pussies and won't
What?
actually be honest. They get so caught up in hype for a game that they will say it's a 10 out of 10 even though it has all these things that could be improved and things that bother them. That is completely dishonest in my opinion. Maybe you like reviewers out there that will get lost in the hype and 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
You're fucking moron, but don't worry about it. Don't worry, guys. You're an exception if you actually like them. But, you know, fucking morons.
10, best game I ever played, yet then they say the game's not perfect and it has all these issues. I'm not like that. I absolutely refuse.
You're just
to
being
say that
contrarian
this
for the
game is
sake of
perfect.
it.
It's not. It has tons
I
of
never
flaws,
said
tons
it
of
was
improvement,
perfect.
And in my opinion, it's not even the best From Software game.
But it's like
How
the
could it be a
best
10 out of
goddamn
fucking
game I've
10,
played all
even
year.
though I enjoyed the hell out of it? It's not. So I'm here to tell you, if you like previous FromSoft games, in particular, if you enjoyed Dark Souls 1
Wow,
through
if you like
3,
FromSoft, you
you're
like
gonna love Elden
FromSoft.
Ring.
We came back
If
full
you're
circle.
looking for the entry
complete
point to
Elden
jump into
Ring.
this franchise, this may be it, because as I explained,
Oh,
you can actually
oh my god. Dude, I had to go through so many pre-streams of him being like, oh, you have to have so much prerequisite knowledge in order to understand this game. And all of a sudden, it's just accessible to the plebeians of the world.
guys, this may be it, because the entry point to jump into this franchise,
Yeah, no.
this may be it, because as
Last
I
minute,
explained, you
switched
can
on
actually
us.
do things in any order you want. If you can't beat this, go over here and do this. If you can't beat that, there's an optional dungeon over here, and there's a new open world area to explore over here. You can essentially play it however you want till you are leveled enough to beat any challenge in the game. And that's a cool thing. At the very same time, the game is so cryptic with what you're supposed
It's
to
a
be doing. That if you're not
FromSoft
using a
game.
guide, I could not imagine a newcomer to the series.
Okay, Phil. Here's what I would say would really help anyone's FromSoft experience in general, but especially with Elden Ring. Go with little to no guide reading for like your first 20 to 40 hours. Let yourself become immersed in that wonder of exploration, you know? But FromSoft games do tend to be pretty cryptic. So, there's nothing wrong with reading a guide afterwards. But just, you know, let yourself at least start off. Just go for it, you know? That's what I did with Elden Ring. I really loved just blindly stumbling about those first 20 to 40 hours. And knowing that I could respec is a godsend. Because, you know, when I did my first playthrough of Dark Souls 1, I was so nervous, like, oh, what do I commit to? So my build, I just did sword and board, but it was just kind of wishy-washy. It wasn't particularly weak or strong in anything. It was just generic, because I was too scared. But for Elden Ring, it's like, you know what? Tell you what, I'm really liking these bleed weapons. I'm going to start building towards that, and I fell in love with it. Just there. I hope that helps someone.
Newcomer to any FromSoft game.
Oh, Jesus, punch my
playing
mic
this as
again.
their very first FromSoft game and not becoming at least incredibly frustrated, if not so confused, they absolutely have to use a guide to beat the game. I'm just saying it. A lot of people also want to
no.
make that, oh, this game. No, you can't beat this game without help if you're a newbie. There's no way
Okay, I don't disagree, but, like, what's the point?
you'll fucking figure it.
So, okay, here's another way to look at it, because we're in the digital age. It's not the 90s, where internet sucked ass. We're at the point that these huge scope games allow communities to come together to compile the data so that everybody can learn how to master the game as one big effort. You know? Like, imagine Phil trying to play Final Fantasy XIV and just being like, you're not gonna know how to beat the bosses without a guide. Well, guess what? The community built the guide. They had to stumble through and figure out, like, what the fuck do we do in this boss? And, like, you know, yeah, I would prefer... yeah, sure, like, I would prefer not having to lean on a guide all the damn time, but, like, this is like just getting into a really obnoxious, like, cyclical argument about the nature of video games and how they're designed, you know? It's just, guidebooks are fine. PSA, amazing.
Figure it out. It's too cryptic. It doesn't explain enough. Okay? But if you are looking for an actual game that has an insane amount of content, and you've always wanted to jump into a FromSoft game before, and you felt that the difficulty was too much for you,
oh my god, my chair squeak is
Elden
picking
Ring
up.
is likely your game, but understand your experience will be different than someone who's played FromSoft games before and who are already coming in with all this prerequisite knowledge of how the franchise works. You're not going to have
There it is. There it is.
And your
The
experience
prerequisite.
has an insane amount of content. You are looking for an actual game that has an insane amount of content, and you've always wanted to jump into a FromSoft game before and you felt that the difficulty was too much for you, Elden Ring is likely your game, but understand your experience will be different than someone who's played FromSoft games before and who are already coming in with all this prerequisite knowledge of how the franchise works.
Everyone else will
have
have
that. You're going to have to start learning all this shit from scratch. It's as if someone who already...
Wow, no shit, I'm doing that with Devil May Cry. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Same thing with 14. I'm almost out of Realm Reborn. Eventually, maybe I gotta pick the game up again. And it's like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Wow, it's almost like I never played it before.
You know, already coming in with all this prerequisite knowledge of how the franchise works. You're not going to have that. You're going to have to start learning all this shit from scratch. It's as if someone who already knows Greek goes to watch a movie where this Greek is spoken. Well, you go to the movie, you don't speak Greek. So you're trying to watch it and understand it. I don't get it. Right? That's basically Elden Ring in a nutshell. You have to have that prerequisite knowledge or else you're going to be flubbing it, not knowing what the hell you're supposed to do. I still think that this game is great. And I still think that both people who like FromSoft and never played FromSoft would be able to buy it and enjoy it. But man, it needs to be improved upon. I was very disappointed with some parts of this game, and I don't understand why people give FromSoft a pass. And this is how I'm going to end the review. I have to address the elephant in the room. People keep kissing FromSoft's butt way too much. It seems like this...
All right, Mr. Contrarian.
You can't
clock out already.
FromSoft game because if you do, the rabid fans come out in droves. Oh, maybe the...
Can you actually try to play the video game at all? And then maybe people would understand where you're coming from and slightly respect it. And then if you're still getting offended at, like, the people on Twitter, like, who are the toxic fan base on Twitter, who cares? Like, what?
Summons are a little bit overpowered in this game. Rabid fans come out in droves. Oh, maybe the summons are a little bit overpowered in this game. Oh my god, don't use it.
You wouldn't use summon. You didn't use summons the entire game. I swear there was a point he even, like, wanted to invalidate people who use them. And then I know for certain with the Millennia fight, he died a ton, and someone in his chat said, hey, you know, she's pretty brutal, consider a summon. You know, I used a summon, and, like, you could see the gears turning in Phil's head because it was like, it might have been a potential pay pig, and he didn't want to insult him. So he's just like, well, you see, I want to fight Millennia head up. Because he couldn't say legit anymore in fear of offending someone. It might have given him money. I didn't see that part, but yeah, just... You were kind of toxic like that, asshole.
Oh, you can't criticize a FromSoft game because if you do, the rabid fans come out in droves. Oh, maybe the summons are a little bit overpowered in this game. Oh my god, don't use it. It's ridiculous. Play this game however you want. Doesn't...
Then why didn't you use summons?
Doesn't matter if you use summons, it doesn't matter if you dual wield, it doesn't matter if you use magic. It's all gravy. It's in the game to be used.
It's all gravy?
Course, summons are very powerful in the game, and if you use them, they make the game way easier. So if you're someone who's played a FromSoft game before...
So why did you care so much about totally playing it legit? Guys, I didn't use summons. I just used the most broken Ash of War in the whole damn game.
You probably don't want to use summons because it's too easy. But if you want to challenge yourself, which is what I did...
Oh, there it is. Holier than thou.
And use summons in my playthrough. I legitimately beat all the hardest bosses in the game, never summoning or even using Ashes of War. I just said, fuck it. I'm just gonna try to use boss weapons and beat it like it's Dark Souls, and
There it is. Well, I tried to play it legit like it's Dark Souls.
I did. And that was a lot more
Oh my
challenging.
God,
A lot
I
more
love that
meaningful
for ya.
And fun to me. To you, maybe not. Use absolutely everything you want to beat the game. Don't let anyone
Like a guide?
tell you not to do that, because it's bullshit. No one should be gatekeeping a game like this. It's your
You're
experience with the game.
gatekeeping it.
You enjoy it as much as you want, and
You're gatekeeping a FromSoft game for daring to be a FromSoft game.
in any way that you want. Maybe.
Did that
you'll
make
beat the
sense?
game
I think
with
my brain's
science and magic,
melting.
And then come back later and replay it and challenge yourself because you
Oh
like
my
it so much,
God, I love
right?
that.
Don't
I
let
love
these
that for you.
fanboys tell you down and talk to you and say, "Oh, don't you dare do it this way or that way." Okay? But also, don't let the fanboys outright telling you the game's perfect make you think it is.
I wasn't saying
It's
it.
not. There's
Stop.
no way you can objectively say this game is perfect. It's
Stop
got
building a
flaws. It's
straw
got
man that
glitches.
hay
It's
is
got
supposed to be for your
issues
horse.
with pacing. It's got issues with balance. And anyone who plays the game will admit it, but if they tell you the game's perfect, they're outright lying.
No, bitch. I have a stupid metric system that I use on my blog for my main account. And it's called highest praise, which basically means 5 out of 5 stars or 10 out of 10. It's literally at the end of the day, I fucking love the piece of media that I'm critiquing. And you should, it's amazing. That's all it means. That's all it means, asshole.
That is it. That's my spoken word review of Elden Ring. I hope now you kind of understand. And anyone who plays the game will admit it, but if they tell you the game's perfect, they're outright lying.
That's how you bookend it?
That is it. That's my
People
spoken word
lie,
review
but
of
that's
Elden Ring.
my review.
I hope now you kind of understand. Maybe you
Kinda,
want to get it now,
yeah.
maybe you don't. Likely you already did if you were interested, because the game's been out for 2.5 months and it took me that damn long to beat it. But I hope that you found some actual value in this review.
No.
And I want to say thank you for watching. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.
So yeah, he didn't give it a review.
Okay.
He didn't explicitly say, you know, not gonna review out of 10, or you're not gonna rate.
That's it, guys.
KO
Okay,
Gaming
any
will
shout out
remember
or any
that.
contributions to shout out as I adjourn here?
Does anyone have
Looks
anything
like
to
Zoe
say
News
about that
Super Test is-
diatribe?
To prepare for DLC, you may want to go back to a little bit before, just in case it's tied to a specific place. I'm now going to up to DS. Guys, that is it. Thank you.
How many tips did he get this entire time? He just read one shout out. Bruh.
For watching. I'm now going to upload this to DSP Gaming. Thank you
What
to
a
everyone who attended,
con
thank you to everyone
man.
who supported. I really appreciate that. Reminder that tonight we got a late stream coming up, and that late stream is
Nice layout.
Skyrim Anniversary Edition. We're going to be doing more
Dude,
of the
Piece of
Dragonborn
Peace is
DLC
like
tonight.
needs a purple
Alright,
heart
so I
for
hope to
putting
see
up
you
with those
guys
Skyrim streams.
at
Those are
6:45
brutal.
PM Pacific time for the Dragonborn DLC.
And Anleet for that matter as
All right,
well.
guys?
He's tag
It was
teamed a few times.
It was fun doing it and putting it and finally, seeing the ending and wow, and doing it without
Wow,
summons,
doing the
and doing it
basic
without
ending.
the abusive shit in the game, and the ending and wow, and doing it without summons, and doing it without the abusive shit in the game, and endless. It was challenging but fun and rewarding, and I'm glad that I played the game the way I did. I really am. I think
I
the
don't
playthrough would've
believe
been
you.
a lot less meaningful if I had used summons and shit, and I'm glad that I didn't. So, guys, thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you tonight for Elder Scrolls. All right, guys, thank you. Thanks for a great stream.
No,
See you
I
later.
was not
Peace out.
around for that. And fast clock out. How fast? I kept going for a few more minutes. Yeah, alright. We learned nothing. Nothing at all. Also, isn't this chick on the left of the cabinet, isn't this like one of Tevin's mains? And she's just conveniently chilling. And also it's all boobo women who show off a lot of skin. I don't know why Phil's allowed to have this screen at all. Patreon is still a thing on here. Oh man, remember when he ditched Twitch and his slides still said follow me on Twitch? It was great and talked about bits. This guy never fixed his coloring error on this frog's leg. I actually forgot this thing was still in rotation. And this one's beautiful. After just recently doing the trans slur and doubling down on it. Possibly because Phil's a combination of an actual bigot and an idiot. A big idiot, if you will. And possibly confused the slur with the real word, with the regular word. Good times. I hate this art. This one sucks. This right here sucks. And that one's been around for a few years. But anyways, yeah, that's, that was useless, but it felt nice to do my 2 minutes of hate. I'm still debating if I want to, well, you know what? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when I will go over his best and worst games of the year lists from, like, over the years, especially before I was a detractor. But because, like, I'll either, like, I usually play obscure stuff, or I don't get around to a lot of the AAA stuff, so it's just like, oh, I don't know if I'll have any commentary to add. I didn't play Prince of Persia. I don't know if that actually ranked on anything. But anyways, that's just me rambling. I don't know, it's just fascinating listening to Phil rant about video games. Like, he's just such a goof. But yeah, that'll do it. Oh, I didn't notice the top of this has transparency. That's nice. I swear it slides every now and then. It might have been the bottom at one time. But yeah, I'm going on for too long. Y'all stay safe or whatever. And if you're watching this before Saturday, I will actually be around for the stupid 1 year Returnaling anniversary marathon, because it's Vel's fault. So if you need a filter and some moral support, I'll be there all day for that stream. Hooray! Until next time then.